Turbo's Automotives. I'm Tyler, or at the Real Bimmer Boy over on Instagram, and today we got our hands full. Not only is these two cars down, but now the Saab is down. The E39 is limping the best that it can. It's trying to survive. But with that being said, the Saab's alternator took a crap, and the motor mounts for this will hopefully finally be coming in, so I'll be able to get those two running. For the most part, at least get the E36 to the point that I can drive it around town. But my main concern is getting the Saab running. We have everything ordered for that. It just comes down to waiting on it. The E36 might be the first to come because the parts will be here tomorrow. So besides that, I got a little bit of good news and a little bit of So the good news is also mixed with news. We drove about an hour and a half yesterday to go pick up sports seats for my wagon. But it turns out that those sports seats that I purchased only work for the earlier years, like the 98s and everything. So if I want to use the seats, I have to hardwire it into my car. And that's where it starts to get to be because they're really nice seats. They're seats that I've been looking for. But it's just, do I want to damage the wiring trying to get it to work on my wagon? And on top of that, we haven't even grabbed the driver's seat yet. We got the passenger seat out easily, but when it came to the driver's side, the positive cable that ran to the engine bay had been cut and a whole bunch of other stuff. So we just decided to leave it out there, come back at it. Another time we tried the drill method, but might have actually shorted out the motor. So I might just be on the hunt for another sports seat, which would probably just be the best because I hopefully find one that I can just plug in on the driver's side, and then I would be more comfortable with at least just doing that one hard wire on the passenger. But besides that, in this video, we're going to try to get every vehicle started today. Not today, but like, you know, in the video, you know what I mean. Okay, now to start things off, we got the E36 lifted up and put on some blocks. We're just gonna get prepped and ready for when I do get the motor mounts. All I have to do is just drop them in, and yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a tough journey for me because this is gonna be my first time ever doing it. So it's gonna be a lot of YouTube. So if you guys don't ever know what you're doing with cars, it's never a problem to look it up on Google or YouTube. It's recommended to try to do it right the first time, and if you gotta look up a video to do it right, then all hands down to you, do what you need to do. Motor mount is completely sheared off, so I'm gonna have to try to get that nut off without spinning the thing that's broken, the bolt that's broken. So it's gonna be a fun process. Okay, and as you guys can tell, it's the next day. I mean, like, can you guys tell? Probably not, but it's brighter out, different clothes, different day, and the motor mounts are supposed to be arriving today for the E36. So I'm excited. We're gonna get started on getting this stuff off. I had to make like this weird contraption, an extra long socket with a what is that, a swivel at the end to get it down here on the motor mount. But as you guys can see, we got that bolt off. So I've got pretty lucky in the what is it called? The bolt didn't start spinning down here, and I'm guessing it's because I had that plate still resting onto the broken motor mount. With that being said, all we have to do now is lift this motor up, which I kind of don't know how to go about doing. I know that you can use like a wood block, etc., but I have that little subframe brace in the way, so if I'm gonna try to get a piece of wood up and through one of the holes, but for the most part I might have to take that subframe piece off or just have somebody bring me over a engine hoist to use for a couple minutes. But when the motor mount gets here, I'll catch up with you guys. And I got some sad news about the wagon. Post that, it's videos, etc. Okay, and we'll get back with you guys when we got the motor mounts. I got sad news about the wagon, and that is the tie rod, inner and outer, has completely failed on the driver's side. I'll put that video up here. But yeah, it's always one thing after another. It feels like I'm cursed, but you know, we'll all get through it. You know, the goal here is to try to get every car that's in the driveway running by the end of the month before my birthday, which is going to be November 6th. So that's the big goal. Okay, so we're back. Motor mount still hasn't arrived yet, but I've been getting to work and I've been getting busy. So we got all the air intake system pretty much pulled off on this side, like the air filter and everything. I'm gonna flip you guys around. We'll talk about issue number 1. This hose ran into it like right here, and then it vented off down into the bottom. I didn't know that this was just like a vent off hose, so I started freaking out and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to replace this because I broke this little tube fitting. It's actually not gonna be the end of the world if I just leave it. So throw that away. I'm very tempted to delete it, just get rid of it and use it as a track car, because as you guys can tell, this car is a bit damaged, you know, so it's not really going to be fully for street use. It's mostly going to be out on the track, driving it when I don't have another car, like winter use and stuff like that. But I came across something disturbing. I was trying to figure out why I couldn't get complete access to the motor mount. This motor mount's also broke. That means both motor mounts on this car is broke. I didn't just drive it home basically from Cincinnati with one missing motor mount. Let's try for 2. That is actually very concerning, very scary. But that being said, we're going to continue working on it, try to get this taken off. I'm trying to figure out the easiest way to get this motor lifted and put back into place. I'm really thinking an engine hoist. I just don't have one. I have an engine brace support stand, but the attachments for it got stolen at my old shop. So, no, I'm good, thank you. But, sorry, I just got interrupted by one of the neighbors. But all we need to do now is just get the motor jacked up and put back into place. Like I was saying, I have the engine support, but I just don't have the attachments for it. I don't really have the funds to just go out and buy, you know, an engine hoist. But I do want to say that with this motor being completely shifted over this way and everything just going on, like I was questioning when I first got the car and why I couldn't adjust the throttle body cable correctly, and because the engine shifted over a whole inch, so no matter what I did I couldn't adjust it. Because when I would drive, it would like have this hesitation where it was like the best way to describe it was it felt like there was no control in the throttle cable. It felt like the throttle cable would just snap, but it wasn't. It was just the motor lifting up, moving about. And I think that's also what was causing the transmission to slip, is because, you know, it's not in place. The engine's moving about when it's supposed to be staying centered. That's why you have a clutch alignment tools to keep all that stuff aligned. Okay, so you know how I got this one and it was broke? Okay, so we come down here to this purge valve. I didn't catch this at first. Hey, that would cause a shit ton of issues as well, right? So we're just gonna delete all this stuff, and yeah, hopefully car runs a lot better without this. Hey, and just like that, the motor mounts are here. As always, FCP Euro for OEM authentic BMW parts. Open this box real quick to make sure everything in it is correct. Never had an issue with FCP Euro sending a wrong part. So, open. AKA should have. Whoa, that's a lot more things than I was expecting. Hey, that's actually sick. For once, I actually get new bolts when it comes to replacing things. Don't ever have to try to find new ones. Guessing that these are the transmission mounts. motor mount. So I just went with the OEM hydraulic one due to a lot of people saying that the polyurethane isn't really worth the upgrade due to just a whole bunch of other issues. This helps out tremendously with trying to keep the noise down inside of the car, excessive vibrations and everything like that. This will do its justice. I got more bolts. But with that being said, this is the inside of that package. I got 2 motor mounts, 2 transmission mounts, and a crap ton of bolts for $126 is what I spent on all this. So let's hope that this is enough to get this thing back on the road, or at least just drivable around town. If it's drivable around town, then it's driftable on a racetrack. Think about it like that, and I won't ever have a problem. But I don't know if you guys remember about me talking about on that side how the nut didn't spin. Well, yeah, I think I already told you guys, but yeah, the bottom just wants to free spin. So I'm gonna try to figure this out. I think I'm able to jack the motor up and then slip like a little screwdriver or pick or something into the motor mount bracket thingy, my bobber, the mounting piece, just stick it up and in there. And then we should be able to, you know, spin this without it causing an issue. Although it is very tempting just to try to take this little mount off, like the hard mount, and then try to mess with it outside of the car, but I don't really know how well that's gonna work. So we're just gonna try that one method of taking this out, but I'm gonna have one of my friends bring me over an impact, and hopefully we can get this up and out. Well, so much for that idea. Okay, so it's day 2 with working on this E36, but good news, the alternator for the Saab finally came in. And on some bad news, I drove all the way to Columbus in that thing, which is like an hour drive from where I'm at, in the wagon with a failed tie rod, trying to pick up a suspension kit, and the guy tried to do me wrong and tried to sell me a suspension kit for a different car. So I'm glad I caught that when I was there. Got everything situated and just drove back home. Just gonna figure out suspension for that at another date. Hopefully just try to find another good deal on Marketplace. But with that being said, we're day 2. We're trying to get this motor mount off. At this point, it's either cut it off, drove through it, have somebody bring me an impact, and just try to impact the all living dog hell out of it. But at that point, I don't even know if an impact's going to be able to get that off. I think drilling it and then using an impact to try to get it off will be the best bet. So I'll catch you guys when we're doing that. But sorry, but we're gonna try to drill through right here and then put something in between it down all the way through it to kind of lock it when we go to turn it, and then hopefully it'll keep it in place. We tried to do that yesterday with the Allen key, but the hole wasn't completely drilled through, so the Allen key couldn't slip all the way down through. But hopefully we should be able to do this now with any luck, with an impact and drilling it out. That old motor mount looks like, by the way, just filled with hydraulic fluid. You can tell where the top hat to this has completely sheared off and it's left on that part right there. Luckily the bottom didn't do the same thing. The driver's side is the same exact way, but we already have the bolt taken off the top. We just have to take the bolt off the bottom. So, and I can't really do that until we have this side put back together and, you know, the weight drop down on this side. So I'm getting ready to head out, and I got a goodie. So I got sent something that I'm really super excited about. I won a giveaway from Royal Purple. I got a Royal Purple fender cover for when I'm working on the cars, which this is an excellent time to actually have this because I'm going to be doing nothing but working on cars this week. So, hell yeah. I'll get this opened up and show you guys. Alright, so we got it opened up. This is what it looks like. This thing is sick looking. Look at this. Oh, I may actually use this at meets too. That is amazing looking. Just what I needed to help keep my cars clean. It's gonna be amazing on the wagon, especially when I'm doing the suspension stuff and I'm reaching up there and touching it with my dirty hands. It's gonna be perfect. All right, so we got to Harbor Freight and got everything that we needed. I got a new drill. It was a deal. Got a Harbor Freight hat, and then got a bucket for being an inside track member, and got some drill bits and stuff to hopefully help with this motor mount. Do it. Secured safely, hopefully. Back, and as you guys seen, we're coming across so many classic cars. There's not a car meet or car show going on at the moment. It's just a pumpkin walk. So I'm genuinely confused. Do I need to bring my wagon out and drive it around town? Like, what do I gotta do here? I feel like I'm missing out on something. SRT caliper? That thing's pretty rare. Oh, so we finally got that hole drilled. You can slip an Allen key down in there. And hopefully, no! We'll try that again. So we'll slip this Allen key down into that hole. And then as you guys can see, it kind of causes a pivot. So I'll hold it from the bottom down here when I go to hit it from the impact. So it'll probably be about like that. And then when I hit it with the impact, it shouldn't spin metaphorically. And if it does, it won't do too much. Didn't get it on camera, but my good boy just brought over an impact. And 2 seconds with having that Allen key in there, we got it off. And now with that being said, we're gonna make it very simple, very easy, and just, oh shit, maybe I have to take it into the bottom. Gonna wiggle this on down through. Just like that, we got it seated and got it put into place. And now we'll just get everything better situated, get this motor moved back over, and we'll be good to go. Okay, so it is day 3 on trying to get this shit situated on E36. Ended up going to get an engine support bar, so hopefully this will make my life a little bit easier. And yeah, all I need to do is just now set the motor back down onto the new motor mounts, and then we'll be finished with this and then moved on to the Saab, and hopefully we can get everything figured out with that, and hopefully it's a lot easier than these fucking motor mounts. Okay, so finally, after 3 days, we got the motor mounts put in on this thing. We also got the evap canister deleted. We got the purge valve deleted because there was a couple issues going on. So hopefully this will help the car run a lot better. And the throttle cable is no longer smacking against the manifold. It can barely almost touch it, but it's not smacking it, which indicates the motor's back in the correct place. I'm gonna probably have to adjust that throttle cable a little bit once we get it started and everything, but I can imagine the battery's gonna need probably charged, so we'll take that over to the auto store and get the battery charged, and then after I finish this up, we'll get started on the Saab. but I'm getting ready to go to a car meet that we're hosting. You should go check out our car count. Iconic, Ohio. We host some of the craziest events in Central Ohio, so go check them out. Maybe you might meet me in person at one of my meets. So there you guys go. And with this being practically done, I'm just gonna cut to the footage of the car meet. Okay, so we've made it to the area that we are using for the event. It's a pretty massive area, but we're gonna get some shots of cars as they roll in and just show you guys how we host our meets. As the meet slowly starts to fill in, we are already got a couple people here and a couple people coming in from over here. But hopefully by the end of the night, this lot is practically packed out. GAT got shut down, Gatlinburg slammed enough. And we decided to host a car meet for it, for the people that are coming back home and are very upset. They got a place to go. So they brought military and shit there, which is again why we are hosting this. But it's kind of popping and it's kind of loud. Hopefully we don't get kicked out. What people think this is? Probably about 50. Yeah, 50 to 100. Hopefully it packs up throughout the night. Hopefully when the other meet ends, all those people come to this one. This is someone that you grabbed. Look at this. No rust. Very, very beautiful. Zero rust. What you got going on here, my boy?
We selling freshies.
We selling freshies?
Yes, bro. We selling freshies.
And these are all
the best freshies you could buy.
The best freshies you can buy.
I stand by it.
And you custom make these, right?
Yes, me and my wife.
Oh man.
I gotta include her, bro. She puts her part in her.
Exactly. That's how it goes. You gotta support one another. They're amazing, man. Gotta love them.
Yeah.
Hope all these people migrating. Whatever sounds the coolest, everybody loves to. Okay, so it's the next day. As you guys seen, the meet we had last night went a little bit too wild and a little bit too insane. But for the most part, we don't really deal with that kind of stuff on a regular basis. We've been working with trying to get the takeover kids to chill out and introduce them to the park and chill community, but you still have those few bad eggs. But with that being said, we are finally finishing up getting the motor mounts done on this. All I gotta do is just tighten the bolts, which I'm not really gonna show you guys. We'll probably just switch over to starting on the Saab. I'm gonna get these two flip-flopped. Probably actually put this one out onto the road and then put the wagon in behind the Saab. But with that being said, we're gonna get started, and hopefully this one on the Saab is gonna be a lot quicker than what it was doing the motor mounts on this piece of shit. And just like that, we got the motor mounts finally put in on this. As you might see compared to the beginning of the video, the motor is actually in the correct place, and so is the fan and radiator now. I got underneath there in that last bit you've seen and zip tied the radiator to where it needs to be on both sides, because again, it was wrecked, so a couple things are going to be out of place. But for this being a winter beater and a beginner drift car, this is going to be perfect for me. I'm not expecting perfect, but I do at least want it to be drivable around town. Got the E36 out. Yeah, I got a shattered window, but it's whipping. Feels a lot better. Still slips gears though, like slips the clutch. So it's gonna definitely still need a clutch replacement. But for the meantime, everything seems to be running right for the most part, that I can still drive it around town. I've been whipping it for a little bit, up to operating temp and everything. But yeah, for the most part, this is good. Now I gotta go do the Saab, and the Saab should be a little bit easier since I've done it before. This is what the idle is like without that purge valve. But when I first started it, it definitely was very, what's it called, lurpy, like it still was. So I'm assuming, yeah, see that? I'm assuming that there's something still going on. I'm gonna try to replace those intake manifold gaskets once I get done with this car, and then O2 sensors maybe. But besides that, that's all I can think of, because that's all I got codes for. Just like that, we got the Saab moved. As you guys seen, the E36, the clutch still slips, but it's definitely improved. So it's given me a bit more time to save up and get that clutch that I need. The O2 sensor is still probably faulty, and the purge valve we deleted. So I think maybe the O2 sensor is causing a lot of our issues. I'm going to replace the O2 sensor. If that doesn't, one of my buddies has a spare purge valve that I'm gonna go grab and use on that, and hopefully that improves what I need. But with that being said, we're finally gonna get started on this. To get started, all we're gonna do is remove these motor mounts up here. Not the motor mounts, the bolts that hold the motor mount on, and then we'll be able to lift this motor up a little bit, and then that'll give us access to the alternator. Very hard for you guys to see, but right down there where that bolt overlaps, that's where the alternator is. So it's down there pressed in between the frame and the motor. So you either have to lift the motor, pull the motor, or drop the subframe. Today we're just going to remove this motor mount, jack the motor up, and hopefully that'll give us enough room to get this pain in the ass alternator out. Okay, just to prove to you guys how stupid of an alternator job this is, I gotta take off this wheel, I gotta take off some fender cover, and then I gotta get the bolt from the bottom, and then I gotta finish jacking this up, and then remove the center belt tensioner pulley thingy-mabobber, and then it'll give me access to get that top bolt out. And then hopefully, with that being said, it won't take me 2 weeks like the last Saab I had to get it back up and running. So with that being said, we'll cut to me getting the alternator hopefully removed tonight. So it is now day 5 of the endeavor, and as you guys can see, it is raining. So I'm not really able to continue work, but my homie is bringing me over like a gazebo tent setup, and I'm about to set that up. So may actually be able to continue work today. So I'll catch you guys when we're continuing work on the Saab. I'm taking this lovely gal off to work. Sadly, it's inside of the wagon, which I'm like fucking scared shitless, like fucking trying to drive this thing, but for the most part, hopefully it'll be okay. Okay, and just like that, my homie helped me out big time, like seriously with this one. I'm hopefully gonna be able to get this Saab finished today, because I was one bolt away from having the alternator out last night. But that being said, if you guys ever need any landscaping or junk removal jobs done here in Central Ohio, I'm gonna put some pictures up right here. Go and visit J&M Enhancements. They're amazing people. I'm baffled with this. This is amazing. But again, if you guys need any landscaping or any junk removal done or anything along those lines, like home improvement, J&M Enhancements. J&M Enhancements. Again, you can go follow them on Facebook. They're amazing people. They do the job amazingly and quickly. Again, without them, this would not have been possible. This is crazy. But with all that being said, we're gonna hopefully get this finished, get all these tarps taken off, because it did start raining last night and I was in kind of a predicament of what do I do. But hopefully we got everything figured out. We're gonna get to working on this, and hopefully it'll go easier than what it did the first time I did it on my Saab. Now my first Saab, it was also identical to this, but it was black and it was manual. The alternator went out, and on the last bolt, all I had to do was just take it out. It ended up stripping. So I'm hoping that we don't go through the same scenario here. No matter if I use the right bolt, it seems to be bolts want to strip on me. So hopefully it doesn't happen this go around. Bro, so we're working on the fucking car and a fucking tree falls. A fucking tree falls onto the goddamn car while I'm working on it. Look at this. If it was the E36, there would have been no more drop top. What the fuck? There's no damage that I can see. I'm gonna have to put the ring camera footage up. Okay, but there's no footage that I can, there's no damage that I can truly see. None of the windows are bashed, thank God. The roof's not fully dented in. But damn, it scared the piss out of me when it happened. Shine the light back here for me. Finally got the alternator out, as you guys can tell. It didn't take me 3 weeks like the last time, but it sure did take hell of a long time. A lot less longer than this fucking pile of junk. But hopefully she'll have a running car very, very soon. Hopefully by the end of the night. Finally got the alternator out. It wasn't as hard as like trying to get it out as I remember, but it definitely helps having gone through this before. But we're gonna get the new one dropped in, get everything thrown back together, and then either start work on this car or this car. Most likely probably gonna be this one. but I still got to get an O2 sensor for this and possibly a throttle position sensor. We're going to do an O2 sensor first, and then if that doesn't help with anything, then we'll start going deeper into it. But I also still got to get a clutch, which we probably won't do in this video. It'll probably be a whole separate video in itself, but I do want to get the suspension fixed on this in this video. Remember, before installing a new part, especially from like Amazon, when you're trying to be, you know, price efficient, always double check to make sure that these look similar, you know, which this actually looks like a factory Bosch one, probably with just the Bosch name scraped off. I'll double check this real quick. Where's that Bosch? Bosch would be right there. No, no Bosch. But it definitely does look almost really exactly the same. So I'm just gonna get this thrown in and hopefully this works. Okay, and it is day 6. We finally got the Saab almost finished. The alternator is in, the belt is almost on. The only thing that is stopping us is me just putting that motor mount on right there, then being finished. Yesterday, as you guys seen, it was pouring down rain, so it was very hard to work out here. Even with the tent, we were still getting bashed. So hopefully in this part, we are finished with the Saab and it is running and driving. And just like that, we got the alternator replaced on the Saab. A lot of trial and error with these cars, but we finally got them for the most part. And with all this being said, I think that this might actually conclude today's video. In the next video, we'll worry about the good old wagon and getting the suspension fixed on that, and also getting the frame fixed on this. We'll make another E39 Madness Part 2 video. But I appreciate everyone who stuck around, watched us get all these cars fixed. Just see what I do in my free time when I'm not really going to car meets. I'm just out here fixing cars, just trying to get by. But again, thank you guys for watching. We don't really know what we are doing when it comes to this kind of stuff, so we appreciate the people who are entertained by it and do enjoy it. That being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one, and stay iconic.